Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is O.wenu, and for today's tutorial, I will be showing you how I got this very beautiful model hub for an event. This tutorial is basically for beginners because I mostly showed when I was doing the skin prep. The first thing I did was I cleansed her face. Right here, I'm using the moisturizing serum. Here, I'm using the moisturizer made by Blossom, and it's a very good moisturizer, very hydrating. I put it everywhere on her face. Here I'm using the Maron Skin Prep. It helps me to, to hold down sweat and mostly oil productive areas. And that would be usually her around her hairlines, her forehead, her cheeks, and under the chin. She has the combination skin. This is the primer. I'm putting it just around areas where she usually would produce oil or sweat. Right now, I'm trying to fix the makeup using a setting spray, the Kiss Beauty popular setting spray. I'll put all the products down below so that you guys can know the product that I use. I use the NUBAN Beauty and L'Oreal foundation. I mix both of them to get her perfect shade, I think. So I'm just blending her foundation down, blending, patting down gently and spreading from one side to the other, and just blend. Makeup is all about blend. Okay, I'm showing you here the concealers that I used to conceal her face. The first one was the Adventurer concealer, and the other three are they are the LA concealer. Sorry. Okay, I'm using the corrector as a blush for my model. Yes, it can pass for a blush. So I'm just blending down. It's a very nice color. It's a peachy color. I love the way it looks on light-skinned or medium-toned girls. So I'm just blending and blending. I'm doing the same on the other side. I'm blending and blending as well. Yeah, gently blend. Blend and blend and blend. Yes. So these are the concealers. I mixed the two concealers, the LA concealer and the Adventurer concealer. Why? Because Adventurer concealer is a matted concealer. It dries really fast, really fast. And LA concealer has a very creamy consistency. I love the way it blends. It blends well. So I mixed both to get what I wanted for her shade. This is a little bit too bright for her, but I made it work eventually. If you want to use a concealer for your model or your client, you should go two-tone or a tone brighter than the actual tone. Please, for a beginner, always go two-tone or a tone brighter than the actual tone. So for the highlight on her forehead, I started blending the concealer from the outer part of her forehead, then I moved inwards gently to the middle part. I blended properly so that I do not have any jagged edge. Then I moved to the highlights just under her eyes. I left that for a bit so that it dries down, and then when I blend, it gives me a fuller coverage. So I'm just blending and blending. I did the same thing on the other side as well. So here I was done blending. I was just trying to pat down the edges. I blended it into my blush. Now I'm taking my blush brush and I'm just patting down the blush so that there's no sharp line. Nobody knows where I started or ended from. I'm just trying to blend everything to look like, like it's just the way it should be. Now I'm using the concealer in, I think it was Toffee here, to create the contour on her forehead and the contour on her nose. Here you have to be super careful because you do not want to create a line that is not straight. Any line that you create, if it's not straight, is going to tell when you try to blend it. It's not going to give you the chiseled nose that you want to try to achieve by contouring the nose. So I'm using the same blush brush because it has a bit of the peachy color. I'm just trying to blend down and create a contour around her hairline. Right here, I'm blending my contour on her nose. I'm trying to just give her very natural chiseled shape on the nose, like as though it was created, as though she was created that way. You get? That was what I was trying to do here. I was just, patting down the brush gently. I know that it looks like I'm using a lot of pressure, but it's because I sped up the video so that it doesn't take a lot of time. But I am really very careful. I'm just trying to pat down gently to create a chiseled nose shape. Yes, I think I achieved that. Now, the brush that I used here is a very nice blending brush, very soft blending brush. You can use a very fluffy blending brush. Do not use a sharp, flat brush, please. It's not allowed. So what I did previously was I took my beauty blender and I went back to remove the crease that had already formed from her looking downwards, upwards, and all of that. So I took out the crease before I patted in the powder, the Milani powder. I'm using the medium shade here. I am using it as a mineralized powder. I use this for the purpose of people who do not have the actual mineralized powder for beginners. You can use your compact powder as long as it has a very smooth blend and it has a full coverage. Now I'm actually contouring. I'm using the Milani powder in the shade Deep. I'm just covering areas that I had concealed with a concealer that is darker, like places that I had contoured earlier. I was just trying to cover those parts. Now I also used it at the middle of her forehead. Now I told you that I used a very bright concealer, but I could make it work, and that was what I was trying to do here. I was just trying to make it work. And right now I'm using my powder to blend out any edge that I saw that was showing, any part that did not really have full coverage. I also use the deep powder in Milani. I also used it as a powder shade because I discovered that much later when the foundation that I had used had toned down a bit, maybe oxidized, I think, it started looking as though it was just a bit too brown for her. So I wanted to use something darker that would match and just blend and give me the perfect blend. So here I'm using the Sasha border cup to set. I'm going to set under her eyes. I'm going to set the part that I had highlighted. So I'm using my flat puff to just put and apply the setting powder. I'm not trying to set. I'm just pressing it in. Rather, I'm not trying to bake. I'm just pressing it in. I didn't want to bake. I'd already used the Milani powder. So I'm just pressing it in with a puff. I'm just trying to blend as much as I can. Like I said, you must blend and blend and blend. I put it on her nose and I'm going to use the deep color to contour the part that I had contoured with the concealer. Like this is now the powder stage. We're done with the previous stage, which is the cream stage, where everything is creamy and wet. But now this is the powder stage. So I'm now using the same deep Milani powder to contour her nose. You can see how very beautiful that looks. Now we're about to sculpt her eyebrow. I'm just using my spoolie, which is my nice brush, to comb out the brow so that when I draw it would look perfect. Now this is my first time using a gel to draw and outline my brows. Had not done it before, so I was a bit skeptical about using it, but I think I made it work. So I'm just sculpting the shape that I'd already, gotten from grooming her eyebrow. I'm just sculpting it gently. I started from the brow bone, which is the curve. Then I curved it down. Now I'm using the BEAUTYLINE by DIDI pencil to draw the parts that were not, that didn't have enough hairs, that had like sparse arrangement of hairs. So I'm filling it in using the pencil, BEAUTYLINE by DIDI pencil. I've done that part. I'm moving on to the next one, still using that beautiful gel by H&E Egan Esther. I'm using this in NUBAN. The color is in NUBAN. It's a very beautiful brown color. Like I said, this is my first time using it, so pardon if it looks weird. But I think I made it work. I think it was really nice. So I switched back to the pencil because I felt more comfortable working with the pencil. So I'm just trying to fill in the parts that were not, were not as hairy as the other parts. Just filling in with tiny strokes of hairs, using my pencil to create that, of course. So I'm going to conceal the eyebrows. I sometimes skip this part, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to show you how I did it. I started gently from just under the line that I outlined with the brush, and then I was just gently patting down, curving down, very, very, very. So I'm just trying to be as careful as I can, patting down, blending and blending and blending. Makeup is all about blending. You must blend. If you do not blend, you're going to have, you're going to have a very unclean work. You have to blend properly so that your work is neat and beautiful. So I'm just blending using a very fluffy blending brush. I did the same thing on the other side as well. I showed you this because I wanted you to see. I know a lot of people always say brows are add this and that and this. So that's why I showed you both brows so that you can see how I concealed both. I took out some parts, like I took out a bit of the eyebrow because I felt that one was thinner than the other. So when I was concealing, I reduced it. Then I blend and blend and blend and blend. So that's what you just basically do. So I am trying to just fix her lash here. I skipped the part of the eyeshadow. I'm going to post another tutorial on that so you guys can see how I did the eyeshadow and the lash. Okay, here is the pencil that I used, and here's the lippy. These are the lip stains. The pencil is a NUBAN pencil. The lip stains are Adventurer and Beyond Beauty lip stains. I'll put the numbers and the color. Here I'm just trying to outline using the nice NUBAN Beauty pencil in G7. It's a very nice, beautiful brown shade. Super, super, super beautiful. It's dark. Any shade can use it. Light shade, dark shade, but they have another darker one, but this one is just beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I'm just trying to outline the lips. I'm just trying to outline the lips using a very nice, precise brush. Just trying to outline. I'm doing the same underneath her lower lip. I'm outlining as well. And as I'm doing that, I'm also blending because I do not want it to look sharp. Do not want it to look, rough. So like I said, you always have to blend. Everything takes blending. Now I'm using the brown shade to cover the part that I had already used a pencil. This was going to give me a very, very beautiful brown tone that was just perfect for her shade. Northern Beauty, I'm sorry, I meant to say Beyond Beauty has two dark shades. There's another one darker than this one. I usually use this particular one for medium toned or light skinned girls. So I'm using this very beautiful pale nude color to give me the very beautiful ombre look that I was trying to create. This is a matted lippy, so it dries matte. So after that, I got another soft, like I said, you have to blend and blend and I got another soft brush. I blended and blended the edges. Then I went in with a softer lip color that was just the same shade as the previous one, the Adventurer. I'm going to put the color down below. This one is a bit blendable. It's more blendable than the other matted adventurer color. This one I just used to cover everywhere, and I blended, I blended over the matted adventurer lip stain that I had used. This one is very blendable, is nice. So I'm just blending on top of the previous one that I had used. Now this is the finished look. I'm just trying to set. I used the setting spray, rather the fixing spray, which is Kiss Beauty. It's a very nice one, It's old as well. For a beginner, it holds. You don't have to break the bank. This really does the work. This holds as well. So this is the finished look. She looks really beautiful. She looks ready to slay, just perfect. Just look at that. Everything looking so beautiful on it. This is the after look after everything had dried down, and she's just smiling, she's glowing. This is really beautiful. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for commenting. God bless you. I'd like to see you guys again. Bye.